stir strong feelings in people. I can understand why that is so. In centuries gone by, people could be murdered for being one or the other. Today in New Zealand, I accept that there are Kiwis who have strong views on the institution of our head of state, but I also suspect that many New Zealanders feel the way that I do. To the extent that they think about the issue, they are agnostic. I, for example, accept in theory that the idea of an appointment on the basis of who your parents are is an anachronism, but I also, in practice, have respect for the Queen and was chuffed, like I think many New Zealanders were, to see Prince William, who seemed like a good bloke, having a beer and a barbie with our Prime Minister. In truth, I don't concern myself much with the question of head of state, because this nation has so many more pressing and real issues to grapple with. Government deficits in an age of ubiquitous entitlements, funding issues for schools, hospitals, fire stations and libraries, job creation in the face of unemployment, safer communities when taxi drivers are killed for a few dollars, dairy owners robbed for a packet of ciggies, an elderly woman badly assaulted in broad daylight for seemingly no reason at all, and a nation that deserves to be more prosperous than it is. Over time, Mr. Speaker, New Zealand may look more seriously at becoming a republic. But many New Zealanders will share my view, I think, that now is not the time. Today our nation has so many pressing and frankly real issues to grapple with, and a head of state debate may well be a divisive distraction. Be in no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that a distraction is what it would be. Becoming a republic is necessarily a far more complex issue than replacing a figurehead with a crown to one without a crown. A debate on a different head of state will almost necessarily involve the need to examine our broader constitutional arrangements, including issues such as the place of the Treaty of Waitangi and tangata whenua within our system of government. National is not adverse to these debates, but they need to be taken carefully and responsibly. In addition, we would need to think through just what the referendum questions would mean in their outworking. In moving to a different head of state, would we be by stealth moving from the Westminster parliamentary system we have to something much more presidential, even if it's not an entirely American setup that we move to? As I think Keith Locke has acknowledged, it may be that a head of state elected in whatever way would feel more independent, and the dynamics of our entire system would subtly but potentially substantially change. I don't raise these questions, Mr. Speaker, to pretend that I have the solutions, but to demonstrate that this is not an easy swap between, as I say, a head of state with a crown and one without. It will throw up bigger issues and complexities. Keith Locke, through this bill, raises an interesting debate, but not one, I don't think, to be resolved by a private member's bill going to select committee one day and becoming law the next. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, when there are more pressing issues, let's not get caught up in the spur of the moment in a divisive and potentially wide-ranging distraction. If we were to change our head of state, let's do it more carefully and responsibly than the members' bill process allows.